I seem to recognize.
We should just do a song section of this podcast too. You ready, baby?
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, Dave Walthall in the house. If you've been following this podcast of only one so far, you may have heard of this handsome man we spoke of last time named Dave Walthall, and he is here. What a stinking treat. Nurse practitioner. Photographer. Knife wielder. Robot maker.
Yeah. Pretty normal nurse stuff.
What'd you say?
Pretty normal nursing stuff, I would say. Those go hand in hand.
That's right.
Yeah.
Recently came to fame on the Red Line, which we'll get into.
I made World Star.
Did you make World Star?
Yeah. The comments are fabulous.
An all-around wonderful man. Dave, did you know that you're probably the person I brag about the most?
No.
I sincerely do.
I cannot imagine why, but I like that.
I'm always like, my friend Dave. Then I tell a story about you.
You're my friend that I think of when I think of who's the happiest person I know, who seems rich in personality and happiness and gratitude. So you're my the person I try to achieve when I say, what am I doing wrong? I need to get that Johnny attitude. I don't have it. Rarely.
You sweet man. Actually, in all honesty, I think you're one of the people who just takes life by the balls the most that I know. And you always do fun stuff, and you're always doing creative things, and you're always pushing yourself. So,
well, thanks, man.
It's cool that we get to sit and talk for an hour and
figure it out.
Usually
I have to pay for an hour with someone to talk about these things. These issues with.
Have you seen a psychiatrist?
I had to start last Saturday because of the train incident. The work comp lawyer recommended it. He said there might be some issues that more than one person said that there might be some issues I'm dealing with, and since it's covered, since I was working,
oh nice,
the company's insurance I believe is covering that. So yeah. I mean, it's always good to talk to someone. I've never been to formal counseling before, but it's cool. Yeah, he's a nice guy. We just talk.
That's cool.
Yeah,
I've always thought about doing it, but I've also been I'm never going to spend the money on that.
Yeah, I think if I was paying the money for it, it'd be different. It's hard to imagine. I think it's $150 for an hour, which that's probably not much compared to what the expensive ones cost, or psychiatrists cost, excuse me, because they're the one that can write the prescriptions. They also take 2 or 3 months to get into, which I can't imagine having a serious bout of depression or a psychiatric incident and having to, when you can barely put your shoes on, and you somehow have to call and get a referral and make sure it's in your network, and then wait 2 to 3 months somehow to get to see a psychiatrist. It's a crazy thing.
That's insane.
But it's a good profession to go into if you're looking to, there's got to be money there. There's
got to be money there.
If you could hold clients off for 2 months, there's got to be something. There's got to be a supply and demand issue.
Do you think you could ask your psychiatrist or therapist to do hypnosis and see if you can get any memories you forgot? Maybe you've been abducted by aliens and you didn't know it.
Yeah, I've always wanted to try that. I just feel like it wouldn't work on me. My brain is so bad at relaxing that when I close my eyes to sleep, it's like a circus. So I feel like hypnosis the whole time I would be daydreaming. But I would love to try it. I would love him to try and say, I want to try it for my speech impediment, which you may not notice right now, but I stutter really bad. I have all my life, and some days it's worse than others. It's completely debilitating. I can't get my first name out. I always wondered if hypnosis could
fix it,
could cure that. Yeah.
Oh, that would be really interesting.
Be kind of a fun experiment.
You should inquire next time you're there.
I mean, it's all psychological. I mean, as you can hear now, and if I'm with a person, I'm feeling calm, or if I'm at home alone, you don't stutter by yourself. So it's something to do with I don't know, other people.
Remember that time I left you out to dry? I think it was the first time we went out to have dinner together at your wife's restaurant, and you're like, Johnny, go talk to the host. I was like, what? And you're like, go talk to the host. I was like, no. And then you went up, and I realized because like you had like a
when
bad moment or
you
something.
stutter. For me, there are like certain things I can't do, like getting your name out. The simple things like
Starbucks orders when you have to give your name.
Yeah, that's been okay. But like I had a girl in high school. Her name was Lee, and for some reason L's are hard to say, and anything that starts with a vowel. And I know L's not a vowel, but for some reason Lee was hard. And she had this this kind of tough drunk dad, and I had to call her on like a rotary phone, and I was so scared to do it that I would have my friends do it. They would call and say, "Is Lee home?" And he would say, "Yeah." Then they'd hand the phone to me
because of the dad.
Yeah, like we would do this. And the funny thing is, my dad stutters too, and so did my great grandfather. And my dad told me when he had the same problem with girls. This is in the 50s. He would have a tape recorder, and he would. This is so smart. I never thought of this. He would press it and say, "Is Mary home? Hi, this is John Walthall. Is Mary home?" And then hit it.
That is amazing.
And it would get him through that like block, which was what stuttering is. It's like you don't forget the word, you know what the word is, but it feels like there's a block holding it. So you're thinking a million words to try to get around it, like any word that like might circumvent it and let you say it. That's why Joe Biden sometimes sounds so. Well, he might have Alzheimer's too, but he sounds so fragmented. He's a stutterer, and a lot of people don't know that. So a lot of times I can notice that he's looking for a word, he can't get it out, and he says something that like kind of works, but to a normal person, it's like that's a real weird choice of words. But yeah. Anyway.
This happens to me with one word all the time. It's my stutter word.
Verisimilitude.
And I can only like the first word that comes to my head is the German word. It's the only time it ever happens. And it's volunteering.
So if
or like volunteerism, it's like Freiwilligkeit, like of your free will. And it's like that word makes more sense to me, like of your free will, Freiwilligkeit. That like whenever I try to think about volunteering, I usually think of like the German word of your free will before I think of like I'm like, oh yeah, volunteering.
Has it ever come out?
Well, I know it's German, but I just know that's the only word. That's my one momentarily regular stutter that I have.
Wait, say. So it's volunteering. So it's a peaceful, helpful thing. But say it with an aggressive attitude.
Freiwilligkeit.
Yeah, see, German, anything you say aggressively just sounds, you picture a Nazi saying it. And that's no offense to Germany, but anything said that's...
It's all of the Nazi films we watched growing up.
Yeah, anything that's said too harsh, it just like, ooh. But no, it's actually volunteerism, but it sounds like, burn the children. I don't know.
I think that all the stuff people watched growing up with like German accent usually was like World War II films. And so that's like, your brain immediately goes to that reference.
I actually watched Schindler's List for like the 20th time with my 1-year-old today when he woke up. And my wife thinks that's really weird, but I don't know. He's kind of like immobile at the time when he first wakes up, so he's got no choice. And I like this story. I don't know what it is.
Is that a go-to for you, Schindler's List?
No, it's not a go-to. It's just every now and then.
I mean, 20 times is quite a bit.
I like World War II movies, and it's well done,
Oh, you said you didn't like. That's World War One. What was that? Is it?
I love World War One movies.
1914 was it? What was
I thought that was 1917.
1917.
I thought it was shit.
Oh my god, I love that film.
They didn't. I don't know. It was all about like the running and sprinting, and it didn't make me care about the characters at all. There was no character development in my mind, where I just didn't care about either one of them. I think filmmakers forget that it's such an easy piece. Not easy. It's such an important piece. Is to like you want your audience to have an emotional connection with it. Whereas there's another one called the God, what is it? It came out. It's got Paul Bettany. It came out like a year or two before, where this British brigade in World War I basically is going off on like a suicide mission. But you have like an hour of buildup where you get to know the personality of all of them. One of them's an alcoholic, and one of them used to be a school teacher, and it builds it up. And when they have to go over the trenches and get shot, you're like, oh, I know
You're
these people.
now.
Yeah, it's a great movie. I didn't care for 1917.
Really?
Yeah, which is weird. I was pumped to see it.
Man, I loved it. We also went back and watched Band of Brothers. I hadn't seen that in a long time.
That's World War II, though, right?
That's World War II. That's great.
I'll check it out again.
Yeah, so good.
I love the Peter Jackson one. When we were soldiers. That's an excellent one.
That was like, I walked out of the theater like, felt like shit after watching that, which meant it was a good film.
Yeah, and the soldiers talk about they didn't come home as heroes. That one talks about his dad laughing at him, not believing their stories, and like the chicks weren't into it. It wasn't like a cool thing. And those guys went through so much, and they were tough. Like when they talk about, they're just like going over the hill, like running at bullets flying at their face. They're just like, it's just how it is. It's like their British spirit. They weren't doing it for likes.
Dave gave me a very cool pair of tanker goggles.
Yeah,
were those World War I?
I think so. I think World War One.
Yeah, you got them in. Where'd you get them again?
I don't know.
Somewhere in Eastern Europe.
Yeah.
Yeah. But they're super cool. Like they're leather and there's like glass lenses.
I'm a big gift giver.
You're a big gift giver.
Aaron was telling me there's like love languages, maybe. I don't know if that's one of them. I think it is.
You better believe it.
But there's something really fun about. I hate receiving gifts. I hate it. I get really anxious on Christmas when people hand me things. I would prefer not to get the gift than to open it. I don't know why it is. I just like don't want to like disappoint them with my reaction or something. Usually it's not something I want, but I don't enjoy receiving gifts unless it's something I'm really into. Like if someone was giving me like a Leica camera, then I'm sure I could get excited about that.
You're afraid your reaction's going to let them down?
Maybe that's it. I don't know. I've never got too deep with it.
If you're only listening, this is a robot Dave made for me. And it has one leg shorter than the other one because my left leg is shorter than the other one. It lights up, and when you twist the lever, it plays Christmas music.
Yeah, Johnny is a Christmas maniac, so it seemed only fitting. I went through a robot phase. I missed that phase.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah, I have two babies now, and it's they've sucked all the creativity out of me. I no longer make robots. I no longer ride my bike much. I don't do much picture taking, but I'm working on finding a way to get through that. I have a plan, but unfortunately, it's not like the journey's a destination plan. It's the journey's the grind, and the plan hopefully will work. We'll see.
Do you think what age do you think they need to get to for you to feel like you're going to regain a little time to do hobbies, or they can do hobbies with you?
Yeah, I think pretty soon. I think we'll be able to start fishing in a few years. I think to get them excited, like I want to avoid them being just like computer kids, so I think, and city kids, I want them to have the best of both worlds. So I think like teaching them about a certain type of fish, like a blue catfish, and this is the gear you need for it. And we watch videos on it, and then we take a trip down to St. Louis and go on like a guided blue catfish tour, like things like that. Take them on like adventures. Try to get them pumped. Not to force them into my hobbies, but yeah, kind of force them into my hobby.
That's the dream, but it probably will they'll like the exact opposite things.
Yeah, they're probably big basketball fans or something.
I will say, Dave, you're one of the most adventurous people I know, and you always find a way to like make things super fun. One of my favorite stories is when you and Aaron were in Paris. You guys went purposely and got baguettes, and you let them get stale all day so that you could have a sword fight in front of the Eiffel Tower.
Yeah,
that's a fun idea. You're gonna be a fun dad.
I've got a really fun wife to do that with. I think a lot of wives in their 30s would question my sanity if I challenged them to a baguette fight. But Erin was like, "You're gonna get your ass kicked." She's she's
down to play.
It's like dating a 13-year-old for life, for good and bad. It's hard arguing with a 13-year-old, but it's fun. It's fun playing baguette fight. No, she's awesome.
Speaking of 30s, I feel like everybody needs a Dave Walthall in their life to pull them aside and give them a going into your 30s talk.
Did I do that to you?
You did that to me, and it was great. And now I'm doing it for other people.
Really?
Yeah.
Erin told me I shouldn't do that.
Don't listen to her. It's great. Everybody needs one. You said, hey, 30s are going to be great. You have a little bit more money than you normally would when you're in your like early 20s. You know who you are more, so you don't put up with shit you don't want to put up with. And you're still in like good health and like can go do physical things and whatnot. Yeah,
I remember that. I think I didn't have any siblings, so I had to learn everything the hard way. I had no older brother to like, show me the ropes. I had to fuck everything up so many times. Can we say fuck here?
We can say fuck.
Okay, great. Yeah. So no, I think passing on knowledge to like, younger people is such an important thing. A lot of times people don't want to hear it. So I try to keep it limited, but there's been a few things where I can remember when people pulled me aside in high school and like, I remember I went on like a high school tour group to Europe, and the tour guide pulled me aside. He's like, "David, what are you doing in Central Illinois? You need to be here with me." And I was like, "Oh, wow!" But I just remember that sticking with me and being like, "All right, I'm supposed to be having adventures." Like
that's awesome.
Looking for the right person, giving them the right limited amount of advice. Maybe you'll change their life. Maybe.
Yeah, I agree, man. Yeah. I think I think there's not enough of that, like having like mentors to like give you advice and pull you aside. And definitely I had a couple growing up, and it's like those people like, I think you need someone like that that's not your parent,
Yeah. I've never had one. I would love to have one. I'm on like Twitter every day for like finance and Bitcoin stuff, and I still want one of these like, successful guys to reach out, not to like give me money, but just to be like, just to like kind of I just want to pick his brain. I want to like, I would love to just have like an older brother, older uncle type person to just walk me through some of that stuff,
This is a plug. If you fit that demographic, look up Dave Walthall.
Yeah. We should start some kind of dating site for
mentors.
For mentors. You can choose how you pay.
It would get taken over by gay men real quick.
Yeah, it would be tough. It would be like an Epstein situation.
Oh no.
I'm glad you remember that.
Let's get into it. Let's talk about your fame, your unwanted fame that just have reason. Because Erin was here and she was talking about it.
Yeah, it was really weird. So I'm now a hospice and palliative nurse practitioner. I used to be a critical care. I worked in ICUs. I loved that for the time. It was amazing. It's just blood and guts, and you have to know so much. But at a certain point, I got really, 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 really burnt out. And I was always really good with the patients that were dying. In terms of giving them med until comfortable and being with the families, and hospice just sounded important to me. It wasn't saving lives, but it was, it just seemed important. And I wasn't shocked with death, and I don't know, it just felt right. Yeah. So yeah, I got into hospice nursing, and I would say 70 to 80% of our patients are on the south side of Chicago, a lot of Medicare. So, I didn't know about the south side of Chicago until I started the job. I just knew it was this big dangerous area, and now it feels like home. I feel comfortable down there, mostly, not as much recently, but yeah, like 3 Fridays ago today, I was on the train in between patients. Had my stethoscope on. I wear that.
And that's like your shield, right? Like your badge of like, hey, I'm here to help. And
yeah. All these nurses were chiming in on these like videos, like, why wear your stethoscope on the train? Well, it's like a VIP pass. If you're walking through Inglewood, you want to be shouting, I'm a medical person. I'm not buying drugs. I don't have anything to steal. I'm trying to help grandma. Yeah. I was sitting on the train playing music, probably looking tough, but probably playing Madonna or something on Friday. And out of nowhere, this guy that was quite a bit bigger than me was just screaming in my face and spitting about, fucking healthcare worker, COVID. And it was shocking because I've planned for those events. I've had 4 years of sitting there. Like, I do, I do like combatives. So I know a little bit, a thing or two about, protecting yourself. And it all, you think you have a plan until the plan is screaming at your face, and then it's just, it's very crazy. But I tried for 2 minutes to like keep my hands up, say, please stop, please back away. And then the guy eventually was trying to steal my bag. I think he was probably just trying to strong arm me because I was the only white guy on the train. I've never felt anything racist down there. No one's ever messed with me. And on the train, I didn't feel any racism. This guy, I just feel he probably thought, white guy, glasses, sitting alone, maybe he's an easy target. Or he could have been off his meds. I don't know. But at some point, I had to defend myself, and we got into a fight. And thank goodness there was an awesome lady named Catrice, who she and I are now best buds. She filmed the whole thing. And yeah, I got some good knee strikes in, good headbutt in. I didn't get hurt from him, but from trying to throw him down to the ground, him being heavier, I re-injured my spine, where I've had surgery twice in the last 10 years. And so I'm having to go to PT for that. And let me know if I'm rambling too much. But,
no, I'm just listening.
Yeah,
intently.
So yeah, the first couple of days, I thought it was cool to post it because I wanted my healthcare friends to see what's going on. And all these healthcare workers once it started going viral, started writing me and telling me, we were heroes 3 months ago, and now we're getting spit on. We're getting at gas stations. I'm getting harassed, and
I don't understand the logic there.
I think the country's so divided, and some people really believe that it's a hoax, and they think nurses and doctors are fabricating numbers, maybe.
What?
Some people think that anytime they see a nurse on a train wearing scrubs, that means that they've been wrestling with COVID patients all night. Now they're covered in COVID, which is not the case. When a nurse in general works with COVID patients, the hospital provides scrubs there. So you wear your scrubs or whatever to work, then you put on your spacesuit, so.
And this guy was saying stuff to you about nursing, right?
Yeah. That, and then it turned into respect, and it was just very sudden and violent. And it became clear he wasn't going anywhere. So, looking back, I wish I would have done a few things differently, but I think I showed some restraint, and also I don't think he'll be doing that again. And they identified him Friday, and I had to ID him, and I wasn't sure about pressing charges because I thought maybe this is a schizophrenic guy without meds. Maybe this is just a rare thing. But he had a long record of hurting people, so he's not a good guy. And the camera lady, Catrice, went in yesterday, and she ID'd him as well. So now the process is to bring him in and hopefully get him off. And I'm still riding the red line every day and just having to look around a lot more, which is no big deal. I'm not scared. It's just, a pain in the ass, But yeah.
I'm glad that it didn't end worse.
Yeah, I was surrounded by a lot of people, but everyone was cool for the most part, and people kept him away from me as I was trying to get off the train. And the only problem was with my back. I have to go to physical therapy now 3 times a week, and talking to the psychologist about things. And it was wild. But I wish it wouldn't have happened. But I guess it's good in terms of everyone needs to know how well they protect themselves. I work out every day. I do a lot of cardio, and I was shocked at how tired I was within 2 minutes. So I think it's important that if you do any of that kind of stuff, you practice self-defense.
It's when you're fighting, it's like a sprint.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah.
I just remember that from when I wrestled for a few years.
Yeah, I can't believe these UFC fighters going this long, that
it's
hard.
It's like you're sprinting the entire time.
It's incredible, yeah. But everything's good. It could have turned out better. It went viral. It went to the news here in Chicago, and then it spread to Fox News, and then it spread to World Star, spread to Daily Mail, and my friends from England wrote me about it, which was crazy. And at that point, I was just hoping that I would fade away. I switched my tactics of wanting to show people. Now I just want to disappear. Because I got on the train last week and I was like a celebrity. I was just quietly trying to go to work at 8 o'clock in the morning, and a guy brought me over an Ice House beer. Another guy walked by me and fist bumped me and goes, "Last time I saw you, you was whooping some ass." And I saw a girl sneak a picture of me, just weird things like that. And then I went to a GNC up here on the north side, and I swear to God, this guy goes, "Have you ever seen that nurse on the train fight?" I was like, "Yeah, that was me." It's like, "Oh my God, I'm writing my sociology paper on that." About how the sentiment has changed towards healthcare workers. But that was just a really weird week. So I'm going on a break with 2 of my best friends in a couple days here. We're gonna go on a camping trip in Wisconsin, and Johnny's one of those. So I cannot wait to get out of the city and just kind of put this stuff behind me and move forward.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's that. You could always you can Google nurse fighting on Red Line or nurse fighting on train Chicago, and it's there.
Matt. Matt's had like a couple things happen on the train now.
Yeah.
One was the time that he was busking, downtown, and someone ripped his cello out of his arms.
Yeah, it's crazy.
And like a whole bunch of people chased that guy onto the train and like fought him and took the cello back. And then he was headed over to go play at O'Hare 2 weeks ago, and like a guy followed him from car to car, and he had like a knife like sticking out of his waistband and had like a teardrop tattoo. Yeesh.
Man, that's crazy.
Yeesh.
Chicago, it's easy to live here and not see the violence, but I mean, shit, it's getting serious. I do not understand why we don't have, if the cops can't do it, why don't we have some National Guard at every single L stop in the city? Should be safe. We should have a place to get to, whether you're on the south side, the west side, everywhere. You make it to the station, it's safe zone.
Yeah.
And that's not how it is. I mean, I'm on the Red Line every day, and I hardly ever see a cop.
You're vulnerable too if you're like, it's only like right now during COVID and there's not very many people on the train.
Yeah.
Like you're a lot more vulnerable. I think that's what I was saying to Matt. I was like, maybe when people start commuting more, like you will take the CTA more again, but
yeah, that's one thing about COVID I'm gonna miss is this. My commute is so nice. When I ride the Brown Line, instead of having to, I used to have to let Brown Lines pass me. They were so full. Now I get on the Brown Line and there'll be 3 people on there. The Red Line's still pretty packed with a lot of crazies.
I'd rather be on a packed train though than like on a train alone and get like jumped.
Yeah.
Don't you think?
Yeah, I just wouldn't want to get jumped. So I definitely have always carried a knife with me, but that's not for a fight. That's for if 2 or 3 people jump on you, someone with a weapon, someone with a knife. Like the fight I was in, I didn't think twice about pulling it out. But yeah, you have to have something to protect yourself. I think mace would be great. The only problem is you would blow out the whole train car.
Everybody's going down.
Everybody's taking everybody
Sorry,
with
guys. Nobody's going to be able to do anything.
Yeah, the crime here never bothered me. Like I saw a guy at work get shot last fall. I was going to see a patient at 74th and Exchange or 75th and Exchange at the liquor store there by the train tracks. And as soon as I got out of the Uber, I heard pop, 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 pop. And I heard all this screaming over at the liquor store. So I walked over there, and I still had my trauma shears from the ICU on me. And this 23-year-old kid, he got really lucky. He got shot in the forearm, and I cut his sweatshirt off and held pressure, and it was an in and out wound, and held it until the cops came very fast, which is shocking. I'm not sure if everybody in Chicago knows it, but they have those in the middle of some of the streets down there. They have those gunfire detectors. It's like a round space age looking device, and it can tell you like what block the gunshot came from. The cops zipped to that spot, and actually the guy that,
which is absurd that there's enough like shootings down there that they have those set up to just be automated to send the cops.
Yeah, I mean, and it's just not doing enough. By the way, speaking of technology, the guy that they caught for me, they caught him with facial recognition completely. No one knew who he was, and they caught him all through technology.
And that's also Big Brother right there.
Big Brother, but in a good sense, I guess. In this particular instance, it's good.
Yeah. Yeah, that's creepy though.
Yeah,
it's very creepy.
Happy stuff.
I'm excited for this bike ride. I feel like one thing about Mr. Adventure over here is Dave has done a bike trip nearly across the entire U.S. From Chicago to Portland, right?
Yeah.
That was 2 years ago now, right? 3?
3 summers ago. Yeah, that was when I was wrapping up in the ICU, and I was so burnt out. I would almost call it to the point of being dangerous. I was so burnt out that I don't think I put patients at risk, but I was not my best self. It just really weighs on you working nights, and I was drinking coffee from 6 no, probably 5 in the afternoon until 7 in the morning. You go home and try to sleep, and you've got limited time to sleep. And as soon as I close my eyes, all the bells and whistles and alarms are going off. And you got to take a Xanax to sleep, and it's just like you're on this like Elvis cycle, these uppers and downers. And but yeah, so I got burnt out on that. I was in the middle of grad school. I was engaged to my wife. And I told her family, and my parents that I was putting everything on pause and I was riding my bike to Portland. And everybody thought I was crazy, but my wife stuck by me, and ended up being one of the best things I've ever done in my whole life. My buddy Evan went with me for the first 2 weeks up to Fargo. Yeah, how could I forget Fargo? And he turned back, and then I rode the rest of the way out to...
Did he bike back?
No, he rented a car.
Weak.
But yeah, but it was beautiful. I had everything I needed on my bike, and I pulled a little trailer, and my schedule was pretty laid back. It was just make it to the next town, and I had just that freedom of nothing to do, no worries, no just nothing but me and my bike. And I had enough tires to fix it. I had enough food, and I had music that I would play from the moment I started to the moment I ended, and it was just it was a level of freedom I know I'll never get again, and I highly advise it if you can make it work. But yeah, it was beautiful.
If you were going to be able to do another trip like that again, what would be like the next location?
Evan and I talked about circumnavigating Greenland.
Oh, Greenland.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, I think it's doable. There's a road that goes around it. Yeah, I like the idea of going all the way around someone. Going all around the UK sounds awesome.
Yeah.
I have to hold off though. It's so dangerous. I mean, we had so many not people on purpose, but you would have like an old lady in a Buick flying by, and her mirror would basically touch your side bags, and she'd keep going and go off the road, and you could tell she just never saw you. It wasn't that she aimed for you. She just, yeah. Now that I have 2 little boys, I'll either have to drastically step up my health insurance or my life insurance, or just hold off for a few years, and do these small trips that we're doing.
Yeah. I feel like I would be more inclined to do a trip, like a long distance trip, if I knew it was like on like gravel roads or like single track or something, and take an adventure bike or like a mountain bike. But being like on those interstates and just having like trucks whip by you. Also, Dave's been run over. Dave's been run over by a truck. I shouldn't be laughing, but he was fine.
Yeah,
it was like a full like semi truck, wasn't it?
Yeah, my mom also ran me over when I was a kid, and I fell out of the car. I've had a few.
Your mom ran you over?
She did.
I don't think I've heard that story. This man is indestructible. He's been run over by a semi, and his mom ran him over, and he's still here.
Yeah, I don't know why. I feel like I'm a magnet for strange things. A lot of that may have had to do with my my heavy drinking in my early days, which I've been sober from alcohol since 2014, and but no, I still have a lot of weird stories since then. So maybe it's just.
I think you should just live life hard.
Maybe that might be.
You just attack it real hard.
Yeah, your positive spin on it makes me feel great. When I'm laying at home by myself, my inner monologue is not as positive. It's like,
So tell the story of the time you got doored, right?
Yeah, that was weird. That was a beautiful sunny spring day in 2 years ago, and I was riding down Halstead, south on Halstead, right past Armitage, right by Summer House. And everyone was outside having their mimosas and brunch, and this lady was parked into the bike lane, and I was riding pretty far left. I'm not a cocky biker. I stop. I follow directions and things, and she just kicked her car door open, and there was
open?
Yeah, and I was flying. There was no chance to even brake. I hit it. The bike just stopped.
Did you How far left in that? Like, how far were you from the car? Do you think
her car?
Yeah.
I was pretty far away, which is what almost got me. Which is what almost got me killed. Yeah, because I flipped straight over the door, and my bike went a little bit left, and right there happened to be a big dually truck that was hauling scrap metal. And my bike was a big steel touring bike, and it canoed that bike. I mean, just crumpled it. And, my leg was there, but my leg didn't get injured. I think the bike, took the brunt.
Somehow protected your leg.
Yeah, but if my head would have landed half a foot, it would have just exploded on all the mimosa drinking. Not a bad way to go, at least. But that happened. When the lady ran off and the cop caught her, and she said that
hold on. She ran off immediately?
No, she came over to me kind of. Yeah, she
kind of came over to you.
Well, a couple guys, it took a while. People were in shock. A couple guys helped carry me over to the side. She ran over.
Did you think you were dead?
No, I was definitely in pretty heavy shock, though.
Yeah.
She reminded me a lot of the maid in the Goonies. I don't know if you remember the very first scene when Mouth is explaining everything. She's the one who was
watched it on TBS.
Adios mio. She was kind of like that.
I watched it on TBS, and it was... I don't think I ever caught the beginning of it. It was always on TV when I watched it.
I can't believe you say that about the Goonies. Well, we can still say Friends. That's my favorite movie of all time, and it
right after Schindler's List.
Yeah, exactly. Schindler's. That's my make-out movie. She told the cop who finally found her that she had an emergency and had to run to the butcher shop.
She had an emergency to get the meats.
Yeah, but the thing I learned that you should keep in mind, I always thought that, okay, I get injured on my bike, I'm going to get $80,000 because I'm injured. Especially if you're really injured. I mean, you could be paralyzed, you could have pain all of your life. Illinois has one of the lowest deductibles, I think $20,000 you can get just this really shitty insurance. So if you're a renter and you have no assets, you could hurt someone and cause them pain. You could take their legs off, and all the person at most can get is $20,000 minus the 30% your lawyer takes. That's it, because you can't sue her for her house. You can't. I guess you can maybe garnish her wages if she was legal. There's not a lot to do. And I could be missing something on that, but that's basically how it was explained to me. So
it's not a golden ticket to get run over by a semi.
It is. So if you're going to get run over, this is not legal advice, but a city bus, a McDonald's truck, a large corporation, those are the ones.
Those are the ones that should be running you over.
Yeah. Don't get run over by a Mexican lady in a paid-off late 90s Honda. That is not what you want.
That's not what you're looking for.
No. Aim for a corporate wagon.
I see. Mm-hmm. I've been hit twice. Both times fine. But I did have a mountain biking crash once where I momentarily thought I was paralyzed. I just assumed I was paralyzed. I was flying down this hill, and at the bottom of the hill there's a sand trap, and my front wheel just immediately turned it in. I just went headfirst into the ground.
Ooh.
And my neck turned under, and I just heard pop, 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 and my jaw slammed so hard that I ended up shattering my teeth a little bit.
Did your body kind of lock up?
I just assumed my legs were paralyzed, and I started dragging myself through the sand, being wow. And then I was like, oh, my legs work. But it was a year of neck pain after it.
Neck injuries.
It was scary. It was very scary.
Are horrible. Having worked in the ICU, I can tell you that there's so many things worse than death, and neck injuries, anything locked in center, it's worse than death. I had a college kid, beautiful kid from ISU, just fucking around, dove in and hanging out with his friends at the pool, dove in, quadriplegic. The rest of his life, he's just going to be a head in a chair. And there's nothing you can say. I mean, I'm pretty good at finding silver linings, but I mean, there's no silver lining to that. Maybe someone's better at me, but neck injuries are terrible.
I can't imagine that.
It's almost better just
the rest of your life being through. I wish I wouldn't have dove in a pool
or pushed in a pool, or
whatever.
People always all my Uber drives. So I take Uber for my hospice jobs, and they're always like, "Oh, hospice! Oh, that must be so sad." I'm like, no, because usually hospice people in general are older and they have dementia or they've lived long lives. Mm-hmm. The ICU, you get fucked up stuff. I had a guy come in on his wedding night, fell off a mechanical bull, and again, quadriplegic. So, I mean, he went from the happiest night of his wife to laying in this bed, and he can't move anything but his eyes, and he's just looking at you, and you're just, fuck, you know. And
what do you say to someone?
You don't. I mean, it's just the basic worthless stuff, you know. I mean, what can you say?
You can't.
You can't. I'm just.
Yeah. Oh my God.
There's nothing to say. So you quickly learn to compartmentalize things really well. So sometimes nurses see, or families might see nurses at the station like goofing off or making TikTok videos or whatever, and really that's just their way to survive because they deal with so much fucked up stuff. You have to shut it off. So you look like my wife thinks I'm a psychopath because if she has like a cold, her mom and dad are like, "Oh my God, are you gonna be okay?" And I'm like, "Come to me when your eyes are bleeding," you know, like you just, I don't know, you have a different
threshold for what constitute.
Yeah, I've turned into like Patrick Bateman. I don't know. I can on and off, you know. Like with hospice, I can walk in, I can care 100%. I can cry with the families. I can, you know, grieve. I feel them. As soon as I walk out the door, I put on my headphones and I'm thinking about my girlfriend and what I'm going to do that night. Or not girlfriend, excuse me, wife.
Oh boy, Erin.
I still call her my girlfriend. No, I mean,
you just got turned into your girlfriend again.
You just have this thing you do. And I think it's the only way you survive. It's either that or you take it all to heart and you drink hard and die. I mean,
yeah.
It's
Do you feel like, so part of like when you were burning out in the ICU before your bike trip, is it just the intensity of the emotional intensity of that workplace too that like got you to like in a place we felt burnt out?
Maybe, and it's. I mean, there's a lot of hard jobs out there. So, but for me, it's a very, very high stress, hard job. You walk in and there's already 500 tasks to do. You're already late, and it's so much work. It's so busy. And as a guy, you know, it's hard on everybody's body. But I had 2 back surgeries, so I had to be careful anyway. But since I was a guy in fairly decent shape, they'd always give me the 600 pounders and up, like, and I just realized at some point there's a shelf life on what your body can do. So I started graduate school and I went full time while working until the very end, and it was worth it. I mean, my motivation was I don't ever want to do this shit again. I mean, God bless them. Nursing is amazing, especially bedside nursing, but it's hard work. It's underappreciated, and they take so much home and they don't talk about it. Nurses don't talk about it like cops and soldiers are allowed to have PTSD. Nurses are mostly women and they are tough on each other. And it's weird. It's like you'll have a patient, you're trying to save their life all night. You're giving them bags and bags of blood. You're fighting, you're doing compressions. You know, the family's screaming. It's just chaos. You're just so tired and hot, and it's 3 a.m. and all your friends are asleep and blah, blah, blah. The person dies. The people come, clean the room. 2 hours later, you got a new patient rolling in. Then the day shift shows up. They don't give a shit about your night. They're tired. They want to hear about this new patient. So this patient's just been erased. It's like a conveyor belt of just chaos, and you're never allowed to talk about it. You're never allowed to decompress. Nurses just don't, at least they didn't when I was working, they just don't talk about it, which
doesn't seem like a good recipe right there.
I don't think so. I talked about it, but I think that's because I had like an English degree. I had like a liberal arts mind, so I would watch the little EKG reader, and I would be like, "Oh my God, that's the person's last heartbeat. Imagine it first started upon conception, and how many thousands of heartbeats they've had, and we just witnessed the last one." And they'd be like,
yeah.
"Oh, cool. You want some coffee?" I'm like, no.
That's how they handled it, though, right?
Yeah. People just
they had to just like.
Yeah, like I kind of saw the art in it, which is maybe not the way to handle it. So I don't know, but yeah,
the art in a life.
Yeah, nursing is no joke, and people started shitting on nurses because of these TikTok videos. Like, I agree, they're silly, but these aren't the ones being made in like COVID units. These are different units that have time on their hands, and they work shitty shifts. Like, just let them have 5 minutes to decompress and send it out. It's not like they're ignoring patients to get it done. It's not that big of a deal, even though.
Oh, people see like people being upbeat and having fun.
Oh, it's a very
TikTok videos.
It's a very far right thing to like.
And they assume that's.
Yeah, they're like, oh, nurses are heroes. Then why do they have time to make these TikTok videos if they're so overwhelmed?
What, I don't understand the logic in that.
It's just some right wing bullshit. Like,
also, if
go to an ED, go to an ICU. They're not doing that. They're busting their asses. They're wearing this PPE that I can't even describe to you how hot it is and how uncomfortable and how shitty it is. It's miserable. And now they're leaving and getting spit on and told they're making stuff up. It's very weird.
It's bizarre.
Strange times.
Photography. You were super into it for a long time.
Yeah.
And do you feel like that's something that you don't have as much time for now, or?
Yeah. I mean, photography since I was 17 was like just, oh God, it just brought so much inspiration. And
which, if you want to check out Dave's work,
oh yeah, at DC Walthall, WALTHALL. That's on Instagram. You got to scroll past the baby pictures to find the cool stuff.
But enjoy them because they're cute kids.
They're all right. Yeah, it's photography. Something I was just like, I was passionate about the cameras, the lenses, just everything. Something about digital photography and like the amount of content on Instagram and the amount of editing. And I started doing some wedding photography just to pick up some extra bucks. And like, I didn't want to compete anymore because I would take what used to be considered really good classic pictures, just like everything's right. But the bride wants like fireworks superimposed and her arm shrunk and like
her arm shrunk.
In every picture, it's like, fuck, I don't want to do that. So like, yeah, I feel a little bit lost. Like there's a lot of famous photographers I used to follow that were in National Geographic and like, worked for Magnum Photos, and they have like a really small amount of followers now because their pictures are simple. They're not edited. They're just really great pictures showing other humans. And then you contrast it with like some kid with a fucking flare, like waving it, and it's been put in Photoshop for whatever. I don't know. So yeah, that's pushed me away. And having the kids, I mean, anybody with kids knows that like it takes up so much of your time that at least the first couple of years, I mean, they're awesome and it's worth it, but you don't have a lot of downtime to like get bored and do photography. That's for sure. I haven't. I'm hoping now that they're older or getting older and they're not like they're out of floppy baby syndrome, they're like moving around,
their head's a little bit more solid on top, so you can
you can
throw them around the room a little bit more and they'll be fine.
Drop them without the guilt. They do fall a lot. I'm hoping photography comes back. Right now I'm like dead set on like making investments and working hard, making sure the kids and the wife have
getting into that Bitcoin.
I am going to throw a little Bitcoin.
He's deep.
But Bitcoin plug. And yeah, I've been into Bitcoin for like 4 years. I'm obsessed with it. It's just where my money goes. I don't trust the government. I don't trust what they're announcing. Inflation's going up to 4% now, which is not the real number. It's just it's sad. This country is built to punish savers. All these people have saved money in your account. Well, your bucket's got a hole in it, so you got to find some other way to do it.
Because inflation is at a greater rate than interest, is what you're saying?
Yeah, it's crazy. And there's not a lot of alternatives. I mean, you could put money in the stock market, which is an all-time high. No, thank you. You could buy houses, which is still all-time high. No, thanks. Gold, it's not my thing because I want to actually custody it. And gold, that makes you a target at home. Otherwise you get like paper that says I owe you gold, which is just as bad as like fiat currency. I love Bitcoin. I love owning it. I know it's a risk, but I love that it's mine. I love having custody over it. I love the guys who created it. I love Bitcoin Twitter. So yeah, that's like my that's my big thing these days. We'll see. I could be wrong, but I don't think so.
Yeah,
I don't think
you got a lot bet on it, don't you?
I'm set. I'm good. I'm good to go.
You're in.
I'm all in.
I love it.
I don't take my 401k anymore.
I have $20. Well, I invested $20 USD in Bitcoin.
There
it might
go.
be like 30 now.
That's a start.
I got it at the beginning of the pandemic when it dropped down for like a couple days, real low, and then maybe it was like more like a month. It was like $4,000, right? The Bitcoin.
What?
Is that what it went down to?
Not since the winter.
Okay. I got it cheaper.
You got it cheaper?
Yeah.
Good.
I have a fraction of a fraction of a fraction.
I think you can buy it now and it's going to be real cheap compared to how it is in a few years. I mean, everyone's looking for ways to store their money that's not the dollar. The dollar is not going to be around forever, at least in the way that it is now. So, but I won't bore you with that. But that's what I do. that's what I do with my money. Call me crazy. We'll see. We'll find out.
What are we going to do on this bike trip? What are you looking forward to most?
I'm really, really looking forward to getting out of the city. I've got cabin fever just really bad.
Yes.
My wife is more afraid of COVID than I am, so she's like, she wants to stay put.
Okay.
And I don't give a shit. I mean, I'm around it every day.
She'd be nervous, like camping and stuff?
I think driving through places, I don't know what it is.
Yeah.
I just quit fighting about it. So, but I mean, I'm in all the worst nursing homes in the city, and I wear pretty good PPE. I would say I'm not like the most hardcore person, and I get tested twice a week, and so far so good. So, yeah, we're gonna go biking. I just can't wait to do some fishing and just to get away from the city and get under the trees and just miss it.
It sounds so nice right now.
We haven't had a chance to really bond for a long time, the two of us either.
I know. We did a biking trip 2 years ago together. We biked in the Lower Peninsula, and now we're going to the Upper Peninsula.
We had other people in the way though. Now this is just us.
Yeah, it'll be fun.
Well, Evan comes later, but yeah.
Very excited to see Pictured Rocks.
Yeah.
Looks like it's gonna be super beautiful up there on Lake Superior.
I'm not really gonna push you off. No, I want to see it too. I think we should get the map out and really just use our bikes to hit up all the hot spots.
Yeah, baby. I can't wait. Yeah. Well, you're officially on vacation today.
I am. It started. I got a week off. Feels good. They gave us 2 extra weeks for pandemic pay for work. So.
Oh, this is your pandemic pay week.
Part of it. Yeah.
All right. Awesome. Ladies and gentlemen, the man, the myth, the legend, David Walthall.
Thanks for having me. I'd love to come back.
Dude, what a treat.
What a treat. I didn't get to talk about watches or, so much stuff. Bed bugs and houses. I've got a lot more to go. God, Japanese jail, man.
Oh, yeah. A little teaser for next time Dave comes back. He was in Japanese jail.
Met a lot of Yakuza, and yeah, I can tell you things not to do while traveling in Japan.
Thank you, Dave.
Thank you, man, for this opportunity.
This is going to be a delight. Delight hanging out this weekend. All right, everybody, toodaloo.
Dance in the middle of the night. Come on. Dance appetite. Dance in the middle of